Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Nintendo Reviews podcast. Some of you may know that we did a couple of specials on E3, but this is actually the very first one. And start as we mean to go on, the actual host of this podcast, JBS himself, isn't actually here, but hopefully will be for number 2. So I'm stepping in today. I'm Darren, and I'm joined today by my usual co-hosts, Lee from Taiwan. How are you doing, Lee?
Greetings, everybody. I'm fine, thank you. Lovely sunny weather over here. I've heard you've had some heat waves yourself.
Exactly, yeah. It's been very nice actually. Well, I'm not a bit. For me, a bit too hot. I've been sweating in the office all day. I can't work, so I'm at home relaxing today. So be much better for that. I keep saying Taiwan. Is it Taiwan or Taiwan?
However you want to say it.
I've been having sleepless nights about that ever since the last podcast.
And I'm not making it easier for you.
Yeah, Taiwan, I think. I don't know. So, Greg, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's really nice over here as well. Again, probably too warm, but always complaining about the weather over here.
And who said global warming was a bad thing?
You don't know what warm is, boys. You haven't got a clue.
So we're just going to get straight into it. We've got a lot to talk about today. And straight up, we're going to talk about the news. We're just going to talk about a few bits and pieces about the news today, some of the more interesting stuff. And we're going to start with Splatoon 2. We're not going to talk about the Octo expansion part. We're going to talk about something that was found by data hackers. Lee, this sounds very similar to something you mentioned in our E3 podcast. So I thought you tell us what this is, tell us what you said, and are you the data hacker?
Well, I was looking forward to some sort of Rocket League football kind of mode where you could shoot a ball around, just a flat surface. You just need a flat surface, 2 goals on either end, and 4v4 teams, and try and score your ball into the opposition's goal. Well, data hackers have actually found a mode which is entitled, it's actually got a name in the code of Splatoon 2 called 8-Ball. And if you have played the DLC Octo expansion, you'll know that there are 8-ball levels where you have to guide an 8-ball around a course without it falling off the edge into the goal at the end. Well, this is very similar. It's on the normal Splatoon levels that they've shown before, but it's basically a virtual soccer game for the ranked mode. Now, if this came out, well, Rocket League, I think, would be binned off. How about you, boys?
I think it sounds good, personally. Whether on the normal levels, though, that would worry me. I like you. I like a flat, more traditional football pitch appeals to me more. But any new mode is awesome for me. But Greg, you got Splatoon 2, but you don't play it loads, do you?
I don't. I had the first one on the Wii U, and my internet connection was absolutely trash. So I think there was an update at some point, and it meant I just couldn't play the first one, and I kind of fell out of playing it then because obviously it wasn't working. And then with the second one, moved houses then, got a great connection, and for some reason I'm still not playing it. It's like there's too many other things to play, and like my 170 hours of Rocket League probably suggests that it probably won't be binned off, Lee. But I like the sound of the new mode. Like sort of, I suppose it's a wee bit like Metroid Blast Ball or whatever it's called.
Well, hopefully not that similar to that, but yeah. Greg, would this get you back into Splatoon 2, or get you into it actually, not back into it? Would it get you into it? A football mode?
I would hope so. Like, I really like Splatoon. I just, for some reason, it's not my go-to game to play. Like, I've never really been a huge shooter fan, but like Splatoon's sort of a wee bit of an exception. It's different, you know, and you always feel like you're contributing. But I don't know. There's just something about it. I can't play it.
You're just not into it. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. What's weird about this, though, that, I mean, obviously this would have been perfect to launch before the World Cup, but and they haven't. Is this, Lee, I don't know if you've heard, is this something that is definitely going to come, or is it not going to come? I mean, is it just been found, but been binned off? Did you know anything about that?
Well, it's just been found, basically. There's another mode which I briefly mentioned to the first E3 episode, where there's a rocket as well, and nothing's come of that. So there's these two modes. They've got names. They've actually got the code running where it's obviously in the Splatoon code somewhere. And when they start it up, it plays. But Nintendo have not said anything about whether this will come, whether or not it actually exists, or they're very coy about it at the moment.
So it could be something they've been playing with and realised it doesn't quite work, so binned it off. They probably do this quite a lot. But the fact that it's in the code says quite a lot as well, though, doesn't it? But maybe they're saving it for Splatoon 3.
It's one of those wait-and-see situations, isn't it?
Or when they release the free-to-play Splatoon next year with the Splatoon Battle Pass.
What, on the mobiles?
Oh, God, no. Don't turn into Greg. So the next bit of news, which is sort of similar, it's like hacking week. Porn in Super Mario Odyssey is basically what it boils down to, but it allows you to change the Switch profile. Again, resident hacker Lee, tell us about this.
Well, if you can't get enough pornographic images from your Pornhub, you can now get them on the balloons that Luigi has carrying around on his back. So basically, hackers have again gone into the Switch profile icon and changed it to a pornographic image. And then if you know anything about the Luigi's Balloon World mode, your image will appear on that balloon. So that, you're getting all TNA for free.
Fair enough. Guess it's protecting the children, as always, that people are worried about. But yeah, okay, it's fair enough. So the next bit of news. So back when, I don't know if this was before the Switch came out or the first Nindies Direct after the Switch came out, but there was a game there which looked great. People played it, said it played great. It was called Pocket Rumble, an online Neo Geo-styled two-buttoned one-on-one beat-em-up. And then it just kept getting delayed. They was having problems with the online code, kept getting delayed. But the publisher Chucklefish have finally confirmed it's coming out for July the 5th. It still looks good. I bet me worries that they've missed the boat massively on releasing this. But
too late, isn't it?
Yeah, the fear feels so. Yeah, I mean, was you interested originally, or has this never been on your sort of radar?
No, it looked great. It had that Nintendo Game Boy style to it. The heavily pixelated graphics, but kind of an LCD flush to the screen, but in colour. It looked fantastic. It's just July the 5th, and now we've seen everything that Smash has to offer. It's going to be a very difficult sell for people to pick this up.
Especially with kind of all the game, like Fortnite, Paladins, Octo Expansion, Tennis. This is so much competition now. Never mind the 10 indie games that get released every week. But I think price may be important. If it's under a tenner, maybe then it'll appeal. I'm Greg. I actually don't know this. Are you a beat 'em up fan?
What am I a fan of? No, not really. Like when I was growing up, like I kind of detested fighting games, and I remember my friends and stuff playing like Tekken and stuff. And
you're a pacifist.
Yeah, it's just like all the having to learn all those button combination stuff. Just like it wasn't for me.
Was it a bit too complex for you, Greg?
It could well be, to be honest.
Well, this one is a two-buttoned one. Like, you might be fine.
Well, like stuff like that and Smash Brothers is a wee bit different. I'm not good at Smash Brothers either, but at least like you know how to pull off the moves.
Yeah, and it's always fun. Win or lose, isn't it? So
yeah, I'm not sure. Honestly, not sure what Pocket Rumble is. I recognise the name, but I can't picture it in my head, and I can't remember the last time I seen anything of it. So it wasn't really on my radar. So
yeah,
it's still not really.
I think it dropped off a lot of people's radars with its constant delays.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how kind of games continue to sell. Obviously, we've heard so many success stories in the first year, and now there's a lot of games. What we're over 700 games on the Switch, and the Wii U had about 750 total. So I mean, the release schedule for the Switch is, I think it's outnumbering pretty much every platform there's been. So there's a lot of games out there now. So it'll be interesting to see how indies, if they still continue to be successful. So we'll see how it goes. So the next bit of news, and actually I was just, when I saw this, I was like, oh, I don't care. I'm just not interested in this. But then actually thinking about it, I was like, oh, hang on a minute. So the Nintendo's Twitter feed, their competitive multiplayer Twitter feed, is it Nintendo Versus or UK Versus for us? They announced that they're having an event on the 28th and 29th at the Royal Horticultural Halls. And it's going to host the Splatoon Championships, which is great. But more excitingly is we get to go hands-on with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I'm not that bothered about these events, but I realised I'm having a gaming weekend that weekend. So I've got people coming over to play games. So that feels like a reasonable place to maybe pop in for a couple of hours, play some Smash, which is pretty exciting. So I'm guessing coming all the way from Taiwan and Northern Ireland is not that appealing.
Oh, a quick 16-hour flight. Yeah, that's my cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for a bit of Smash. How dedicated are you? But I guess it's good that they're rolling the game out and letting people go hands on with it as well. So, and I'm sure that'll keep ramping up until its release in December. I'd imagine it'll be the same. I was going to say the same build as E3, or do you reckon? Obviously, they're constantly working on it. I wonder if it'll be an updated build, but probably
they
not.
Normally do keep to the same builds up to a certain date. They'll just because they got to take it all over the world, haven't they? They'll just keep to that same build and get everybody playing that, and then they'll update it when the kiosks go out, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, hopefully I'll get to play it, and then I'll report back on that one. Yeah, we'll do. I'm looking forward to it. So, more news. So, yes, was it yesterday? When I say yesterday, that's the 26th of June. Obviously, this will be released on the 28th. We're recording on the 27th. But there was a surprise announcement in the middle of the night of Labo being integrated into Mario Kart Deluxe. Obviously, the motorbike Labo. I've not tried it out yet. Actually, I should have tried it out before we did this, but I didn't. But I will try it out. What did you guys make of this?
Well, I see it as my E3 predictions coming true at a later date. We got the 8-ball soccer mode, and now we've got half of an F1 car built.
Still grasping for those points.
It's too late. You finished last. But do you think this is a good idea? Do you think
it's not bad, is it? They've also promised in the future, not just this Mario Kart 8 controller, but with other Toy-Con toys, they will support other. I don't know which games they'll be doing it with, but with other Nintendo games in the future. So I can imagine any racing game possible jumping in with the motorbike controller, but what else can you see? Excitebike, yeah. But what about the house? What's the house going to be compatible with?
Animal Crossing.
Oh, there we are. See.
We'll see. To be honest, this was the most exciting bit of it. Actually, I'm not mega convinced. I think my son will probably enjoy playing Mario Kart with the Labo bike. I mean, the bike game in Labo feels exactly like Mario Kart 8 anyway. It's blatantly built on the same engine. It's identical. So, but I think he'll like it. I think it doesn't hurt. But it's the future stuff which I think is more exciting. Yes. I want rhythm games using the piano. For example, stuff like that. So. But we'll see what ideas. Maybe we'll do a feature on that one week. Our special topic can be what ideas can we have using Labo in games, either games that are already out or future games. Because it excites me personally. Does Labo still interest you guys? Because I know it did, but you didn't get it. But it did interest you. But is that there still, or is it gone?
I did get it, but it never made it out of its brown paper bag that it came in. And I actually returned it. At the time, I just thought, I don't need this. If my son was older, I reckon we'd probably have a great time building it. And the thought of the first time I seen the motorbike handlebars thing, immediately I thought, right, let's get Wave Race. I don't know how I feel about it being integrated into games down the line. If it meant we're getting a new Excite bike or something, that's great. I probably would get the handlebars for it. I'd probably get the variety kit one. I don't know. It's interesting to sort of think about the sort of possibilities.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as it's always an alternative control method.
Yeah, as long as they don't mess with the original setup, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Yes. On my kind of side of it, my son is a little bit too old for Labo now, so we were looking at all the introductory videos to it, and we were getting a little bit excited, and then after it's been released, our excitement has waned and it hasn't come back. I very much doubt if I'll get anything with Labo. Even the robot, I suppose the robot is a bit more difficult and more complex to build, would suit him a bit more, but he just never asked for it.
Maybe it's going to be in that Demon X Machina game.
Then I'll be... Yeah, that might make me pick it up.
And maybe that's slightly pushing it off topic a wee bit, but you guys saying about it being like... as long as it's an alternative control method, was there something about Super Mario Party that I read somewhere that does it only use the Joy-Cons or something? Like, are Pro controllers compatible? Or am I like making that up?
I mean, that is some diversion, but I don't know. Do you know what? I have no idea whatsoever.
I'm running through my brain as well. It looks everything they've shown, but they like to focus on one thing, don't they? Go, hey, we selling the Joy-Cons. This Joy-Cons work with it. I suppose Joy-Cons are easy because you're only pressing one button to roll the die. You're just doing little motion gestures. If everybody had a Pro controller, some of those motion gestures might get lost in translation. So you might be right there, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I can't remember where I read it at, but it's just like the thing that sort of annoyed me about the Wii U, and even going back to the Wii, is just needing all these different controllers just to be able to play different games. Whereas now we have the Switch, and it seemed like Nintendo were like providing stuff where you could use like any controller really to play all the games. So if they're going down that route, that's really annoying.
Yeah, I'm on there now. They don't actually say. I mean, the games required so much of the Joy-Con specific features. It wouldn't surprise me if you could only use the Joy-Con.
I agree.
It wouldn't surprise me if they kind of did that. And to be honest, that's a decent thing, isn't it?
I mean, it's fine. I mean, everybody has one because obviously it comes with the system. But if you're wanting, like, maybe you have like 3 Pro controllers at home to play multiplayer, and then if you're wanting to play Super Mario Party maybe, and you only have the 2 Joy-Cons that came with the system, then
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean,
you could do all the motion controls on Mario Odyssey still. You know, you've got like wang the Joy Pro controller around a little bit more alien, but you could still do it. So I don't know. We'll see on that, but it's a reasonable point. Plus, we've all got to buy a second Switch just for the other mode, remember, as well. So get saving, boys.
I want that Nintendo Labo Switch.
Yeah, it does look good. So next on the list, just a quick one actually, is obviously Super Mario Ultimate. They're doing these daily updates, and they added this new track for Snipper Clips, a remix music from Snipper Clips. Did you listen to it?
I haven't listened, no. I wrote down the news and never went and listened.
But it's awesome news. But I've seen your note. Will there be a Snipper Clips level? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
If they're like the characters are like cutting bits of the stage away, so it keeps falling away and things like that. And
do you remember the DS? The writing game. The writing game. It's like
PictoChat.
PictoChat. That's the one. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, they had a PictoChat stage in the Wii version. Was it?
I can't remember.
And that was
I think it was Brawl.
Yeah, Brawl. And then that was heavily manipulating around the place. Something like that with snipper clips would be excellent. Yeah, you're right, Dazzy. Cutting corners and dropping shapes and dropping basketballs on the stage to knock you off. That kind of thing that was in snipper clips itself would be brilliant fun.
Well, it'd probably be fun. It's obviously not going to happen, but if you had, say, 2 people fighting on the stage, and then you had maybe 2 other friends that were trying to cut bits away as the snipper clips.
Yeah, interactive players. Yeah, cool.
I mean, that's a mode. It's almost like the 5-player New Super Mario Brothers mode, but that could be a mode in general for Smash. If you've got, whether you just got people watching. And then they can throw weapons on the pitch or, on the level, manipulate them in some way, put the assist trophies down or the enemies, either just as a general or also if you do stock matches, if they get knocked. I mean, this is like another mode in Smash that we're creating here, but I quite like the idea of that. I quite like for some reason. I don't think they'd do it just for one level. But as a mode, I think that's a good idea. I think that's good. So there's another idea that we can do for future. Is Smash Brothers ideas, for mode ideas, because there's going to be loads of them. It's the ultimate version, remember. In not quite so good news is that Famitsu has announced that Smash Bros. Ultimate won't include every stage ever, which I was kind of beginning to think that maybe every stage would be included. Are you guys disappointed, surprised?
I'm not surprised. There's got to be so many stages. Ridiculous amount of stages. We already know of. Wait, there, I can't even remember. 64 so far?
No, it's like 80 odd.
Oh, okay, 65 fighters, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it's
Yeah,
like
and
80,
then
85 levels.
So if that's levels and that doesn't include them all, my God, how many levels have there ever been in its Smash's 20-year history? That would be incredible,
Yeah.
but I'm not surprised and I'm not saddened. It's a hell of a lot of stages anyway.
But at the same time, how good is it to think that you can play on every single level there's ever been? That appeals to me a hell of a lot. I'm actually looking at the stages now. Yeah, okay, right. Let's count these up. There's 9 in Smash Brothers,
Right?
29 in Melee, so
Right.
that's 38.
38.
41 in Brawl.
Jesus, 79.
In Smash 4, there's 55.
55 in
A lot of those are
Smash
probably
4.
returning stages as
That's
well.
what I was going
no?
to say. That was my next point. But 55. So how many is that?
134. So
And I was 134. So
there's about 50
I mean, we-
levels short.
yeah, but there's going to be about 20 at least, if not more. So for example, actually on the Smash 4, there's actually only 42 different ones.
Yeah, because
They're talking
some
about-
will be duplicated from previous editions. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say 20 or 30 of them are going to be repeated, because every game had repeats, didn't they? So
Yeah.
you're looking at still around about 100 odd, so that's not that far off already.
Yeah.
So maybe it will just be specific levels, like maybe even like the Picto Chat or the Miiverse stage or something like that.
Plus, some of the stages they've said is 84 stages or whatever it is in the new Smash. Some of those have got to be new. Well, we know of a few new ones already, and I'm sure there'll be
Oh, God, yeah, I
another
never
few
even
new
thought of
ones
that,
dropped
yeah.
in as well.
Crazy, that is insane. Either way, it's going to be amazing. But does anybody want this for Mario Kart? For the next Mario Kart? Mario Kart Ultimate? Every character, every track that's ever been in a Mario Kart?
Yes, please.
Yes,
That would be
yeah.
every battle mode. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
I was just expecting them to do that with DLC, you know? When they started getting the DLC out, I thought, oh, come on, let's add to the DLC now and let's get every track out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 it's so good that it's just like they could just keep building on that if they wanted to, and I'd be happy for the rest of my life probably.
Yeah, yeah. That would
But
be
at the same time, I'm sort of interested to think about what they're actually going to do with the Mario Kart 9, because I've always kind of wanted them to go sort of the Diddy Kong racing route and bring in like airplanes and like jet skis or whatever.
Bold.
I don't necessarily need the adventure modes, even though that would be cool, but where do they go from here?
I'd
I'd imagine they just do the same thing.
Into space. I don't know where they're going.
Just a bit more. Just give us more. Maybe. I actually think an adventure mode is the best. I mean, planes and boats or whatever. I mean, it sounds. It could be good, but it could just ruin what Mario Kart is as well. It scares
sounds
me.
like Sega All-Star Racing or whatever that was called on the Wii U.
Yeah.
No, it
But then-
doesn't.
But then you could also say it sounds like Diddy Kong, which everyone
Yeah.
loves. So, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It scares me. A bit of me's like, no, don't ruin it. I love Mario Kart, so I just think create Diddy Kong Racing 2 instead, and maybe just. But like you say, it's like, what do they do with Mario Kart? But maybe they do it as a, maybe they do it as a free to play Mario Kart, and you got to subscribe to the online. You've got to get
Coming on
Mario
the
Kart Pass.
mobile. Mario Kart Tour.
Maybe Mario Kart Tour is it. That's it. That's the last one. Don't know. I think we'll get it soon, in all honesty. I think we're going to get it for 2020. I think that's going to be the big game. The Mario Kart 8 makes so much.
Mario Kart 9 is coming in 2020.
I reckon.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even sure we're going to get another Mario Kart on the Switch.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. They wouldn't turn that money away.
How about DLC money instead?
I just don't think it's as much as...
As much as they could make from releasing
with a
new
brand new
edition.
game. Yeah, Mario Kart 8 was just a port, and it sold, 10 million, which is incredible. But then
Yeah.
if you did DLC, even if 50% bought it, it's still only 5 million copies of a kind of expansion pack. But if they release Mario Kart 9, I reckon it would sell even better than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I think it's definitely coming. I think they'd be mental not to release it. But we're going on some serious tangents today, aren't we? It's good, but let's keep on track. We need to keep all these ideas for future episodes. So the final bit of news, and by the time you're listening to this, because the Donkey Kong expansion pack for Rabbids will be out. I'm guessing, Greg, you didn't get Rabbids.
I haven't got Rabbids. Probably not getting Rabbids.
That's probably a wise move if you listen to me, but if you listen to Lee, I think you may get a different opinion, because Lee, you love it.
I absolutely, it was a smashing game, the way it's streamlined. We were talking last week about Fire Emblem streamlining tactical strategy games, but the Mario and Rabbids game did very much similar to it, and it was funny the entire length of the game. Never lost his humour.
Yeah.
It did get a little bit long in the tooth towards the end, but I can't fault it. But it's one of those things that I just watched the trailer for the Donkey Kong add-on thing, and it looks amazing. And it's something I said, I've 100% completed the normal game. There's no way I'm going to put any more time or effort or money into anything else in Mario and Rabbids. And then this is now tempting me. How about you, Darren?
Yeah, it's sort of similar in a regard. I loved Mario and Rabbids for the first quarter, and then I felt like it was getting a bit samey. There was introducing new mechanics, and everything about it was impressive. The kind of presentation, the humour, but I just started to get a bit bored by it. And then after halfway, I struggled, and then I just gave up. I didn't continue playing. I just gave up playing it. I don't know what it was. Like the difference between that and say Fire Emblem. Why I love Fire Emblem so much, and this, which, like you say, twists the mechanics so beautifully, but for some reason it just didn't grab me, and I'm not quite sure why. But yeah, it just bored me. But saying that, I think this Donkey Kong expansion looks amazing, and I annoyingly, because I'm an idiot, I bought all the DLC before I really played the game, because they launched it straight away, didn't they? And because I'm me, I'll buy all that. I'll definitely love it. And so I bought it all, and then straight away I was gutted, like, oh my god, what have I done? But so I've got it. I own it.
Did you finish the main campaign?
No, I gave up.
I had a similar problem with you. Toward the end, about 3/4 of the way through, it is getting samey, and I persevered and struggled. Where the tactical strategy is top notch, it's one of the best tactical strategies I played. Very simple, but effective. It's the puzzle elements that get so repetitive towards the end. The bits between the fighting. Yeah. Good luck finishing it.
I don't. You don't have to finish that to play the Donkey Kong expansion, do you?
No, I shouldn't imagine so. No.
Good. I don't think I won't finish it. Maybe in years to come, if like Hugo wants to play it or something like that. But I won't go back to it. I've got a new rule in. Like, I used to finish every single game, whether I hated it or not. But Assassin's Creed 3 converted me to realise that, you know what, my time is more valuable than completing games. I need to, if I don't like a game, I'm just going to stop playing it. And Assassin's Creed 3 after 15 hours did that to me. But I'm going to get it. I'm going to play this. The fact that it's shorter appeals to me a lot. I did feel as if it was, like you said, it just went on too long. And if it was half the length even, it's not, for me, games, it's not about 100 hours or 60 hours. I'd rather an amazing 5 to 10 hour game than an average 20, 30 hour game. So the fact this is shorter, and also, this is probably sacrilege to say, I was listening to a review yesterday, and they were saying it's a lot easier. There's no difficulty spikes, which I found them annoying as well. It's a lot easier.
In the Donkey Kong part of it, yeah?
Donkey Kong, yeah. And I was like, ooh, good. I'll probably enjoy it more.
Yeah, there were a few bosses in the main mode which were definite huge difficulty spikes. And without going back and leveling up a little bit extra, you definitely struggle.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I've again, as you get older, I play more games now. When I was younger, if I had this one game to play, I'd have blitzed everything and probably loved it more than I do now. But now I'm just like, I just find it a waste of time, just repeating the same levels over and over. And it's if you're not loving it, it's becomes a chore. So So maybe me and you, Lee, if you do get it, then we'll update our thoughts on this maybe next week or the week after, whether it improves on the original for me or is as good as ever for you. Yeah, so that's all the news. That's a lot of news, and we've cut a lot of news out as well. So, but let's move on to what we have been playing. And I know we've all been playing tennis and other games, but we're not going to talk about anything like that. We're going to talk about maybe some of the smaller games or that we've been playing. And Lee, I've seen yours. Tell us about this game. We've spoken about it before, I think, on the first E3 podcast.
Yeah, it's developed by Stoic. It's a very highly regarded tactical strategy game called the Banner Saga. It comes in 3 flavours, so there's a full trilogy of games of them, but about 2 months ago the original came out on the eShop only. The second one, Banner Saga 2, is available at this moment, and the third one, I believe, is coming very soon. And the story will flow, and your characters that you manage to keep alive, I'll talk more about that later, will carry on throughout the entire trilogy, which, you know, I looked at the synopsis of the plot and everything, and I was like, wow, this does look good. Unfortunately, it's a game of 2 halves, and I'll talk about the negatives first. The biggest criticism of the Banner Saga is its tactical strategy elements. The battles are seen from a slightly elevated isometric view, and they're grid-based. So think of something like Fire Emblem and just bend it slightly so you're looking down at a 45-degree angle. Now you can zoom in and out of the battle grid anytime you want, but the developers have chosen this really weird angle, and the angle is not adjustable. You can't rotate the field of play. So you'll find that some of your characters in the game, they're huge. You've got normal humans, which will take up 1 square, and you've got Val, who are these giants who take up 4, and they're all your allies, 4 squares, and you can't see behind them. So if they're blocking your field of view, and so you can't see anything. So positioning your troops to exactly where you want them to go, which is of vital importance in this game, becomes a level of difficulty in itself. Now, you never know if you're clicking on the right square, and
so you're battling the game almost.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning. It's a relentlessly difficult game anyway. The tactical strategy takes no prisoners. Unfortunately, you can adjust the difficulty setting at any time in the game and incur no penalty. I must admit, I found this so difficult at times that I had to drop the level of difficulty down 2 notches. But you got this positioning problem with the characters, so you don't know where your characters are going. And then games like Fire Emblem Awakening, when you select a character, it will show you how far you can move and then how far you can attack, with beautiful color-coded blue squares and red squares. And then you can click on an enemy and see how far they can move and attack, and then you can balance your move compared to the enemy's distance of attack and very quickly come up with a good strategy. This doesn't do it. So you can either see your movement or your attack. You can't see them both together. And you can either see...
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. You can see your enemy's movement and attack, but not together. And so you've got these 4 possibilities of me attacking, me moving, enemy attacking, and you can't see them all at one time. You can only see one thing. So just a single maneuver becomes this... you have to do it by memory. Oh, if I go 2 squares forward here, I'm just in range with my bow, and then you pull off that move and you go, oh no, I'm 1 square short, and then there's no way to back out of that move once you've moved. It just ramps. It's an already difficult game, and it just ramps the difficulty up to frustration levels. I'm really swearing at this game.
But you're sticking with it?
I finished it, yeah.
And how long was the torture?
The torture, well, from what I read, I started playing, I thought I'll have a quick look online and see how long, and people said, this is a masterpiece, a tactical RPG masterpiece. It's over 20 hours of play. I thought, oh, I'm not going to do that. I put another hour in, and I I completed it in under 6 hours. So
Okay.
that's another negative. It's on the short side because it does some things right.
That sounds like a positive with the gameplay as it is.
The tactical strategy is a huge positive, yes. But the other side, there's like a game of two halves. So you've got this tactical strategy, and you've also got this text-based movement of characters. So basically, your storyline is that your whole race of people involved, they're being attacked by this enemy called the Dredge, and they're relentlessly pursuing you across like a Game of Thrones map. You are trying to outrun them and have skirmishes along the way, and this part of it where you have decision making and you're trying to survive, keep everybody alive that you can, item management, choosing what stores to buy, what to sell, when to rest to build your morale up, when to push the march along faster, when to outrun, everything comes together in this foreboding sense of doom, and the story is really deep. It's very nice.
And what's the ratio of the two gameplay aspects?
I reckon about 2/3 of it are this multiple choice dialogue, text-driven caravan section, and about 1/3 of it you'll spend in the actual tactical strategy elements of it.
And overall, is it worth it?
It's hard to recommend. I really love that kind of text-driven, and the graphics based on 90s cartoons. The story is great. But the tactical strategies so weighs it down that it becomes very hard to recommend to anybody. Plus its asking price for 6 hours of play, and I think they're charging 18 quid on the eShop.
$17.99.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much, I think. In a sale, maybe one day, would be worth it.
Do you know if they've fixed it for Banner Saga 2?
I don't know, no.
Are you going to get Banner Saga 2?
It's put me... The tactical strategy has put me off. Maybe if I need a breather from it, that's for sure. I would like to see what happens to the rest of the characters in it. You know, somebody has died that maybe shouldn't have died, and I could have sacrificed someone else in this other person's place, but it will have to wait, I'm afraid.
Not overly positive. Greg, the game you've been playing, are you more positive this week about your game?
Yes, I'm absolutely positive about it. There's probably a review going up for it in the next day or two. Working on the first video review for it as well. The game I've been playing is Ikaruga, which some of you might remember. We got a release of it on the GameCube back in the early 2000s. It was originally an arcade game. Basically, it's a 2D scrolling shooter. But the twist that makes Ikaruga a bit different is you can switch the polarity of your ship. Like, you can flip between black and white just at the press of a button, and it totally changes. It brings up lots of mechanics that wouldn't otherwise be possible. Enemies will be black and white as well, and so basically, if you shoot an enemy who's the opposite colour from yourself, you'll do like double damage. If they shoot you, provided they shoot you with the same colour of bullets as your ship, you can absorb them and it builds up an energy gauge. Or if they shoot you with the opposite colour, you'll immediately die. So there's that part of it where it's like, it's really difficult. It's in the classic shooter style. You only start with like 2 lives to get through the whole game, and it's a one-hit death. So I mean, at times there's a lot of stuff going on the screen, and it's just trying to keep track of everything is really difficult. Just surviving is one part of it, but then there's a whole other part where it's like striving for high scores, and like you build up these combos by like shooting sequences of enemies. And I mean, if at the end of every stage you'll have your score, and that can be uploaded to the leaderboards, and that's great. But then if you go and check out the leaderboards and look at your own score and then see what the top score is for that stage, you will be like shocked at some of the difference. But the great thing is that you can go on, you can download the replays of the high scores from like the best players and see how they went through the levels, and just it really opens up your eyes to some of the strategies and like how insane these people are, like learning the structures of the levels and stuff.
Those downloads, it downloads the whole playthrough of their game.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and obviously you can upload your own and stuff, and yeah, you can look at like where you are in like the world rankings or whatever. I think somehow I'm like, well, on the easiest one I'm like 130 or something. I'm not sure if there's that many players playing it really, but like the difference between my score and like where I'm at and the person at the top is several million. I think my high score is like it's around 3 million or something, and the top scores are like, I think it's like 27 million or something.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. But you can filter between like the world of your friends or whatever, and you can also play in cooperative as well. So you can go through the game two-player. Obviously, it doesn't really work as well if you're going for high scores and stuff that way, but it's nice to have a friend along. And I mean, there's only 5 levels in the game, so in theory you can sort of finish it in like half an hour, because like you can go into the options and select like infinite continues and stuff. So if you just want to see everything in the game, that's one way to do it. And if you're going to do that, you're probably not really getting everything you can out of the game, because the best part of it is sort of challenging yourself, like with the default settings of like only 2 lives to get through the whole thing, which at the start seems completely impossible, and to be honest, still kind of seems impossible to me, because I get to about halfway through stage 3, maybe haven't died at all yet, and then just get pounded and like 3 quick succession, 3 deaths in quick succession, and it's over. But it's just, the satisfaction is really getting better and better and learning how the levels play out, and when the enemies are coming, what obstacles are coming. It's really good and really satisfying whenever you start making just that tiny little bit of progress. It's almost like playing games when you're younger, you know, when you don't have like save files and stuff. Maybe you're playing like Sonic or something, and you make it to a brand new level that you've never seen before. You might die in it, but obviously you just start again and just try to get that wee bit further every time.
Sounds good. Have you played it in vertical mode?
I haven't played it in vertical mode, but obviously that is an option. I've obviously seen somebody trying a Kickstarter to
the flip grip.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that in the news.
That looks amazing. Actually, that's a nice.
I've backed it.
Oh, good man. Was the flip grip done by an ex-IGN guy? I can't remember.
Yeah, is it Jeremy Parish, wasn't it?
That's the one. Yes, Jeremy Parish. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks amazing. It's been confirmed. It's already, I think it's like over twice its goal, so it's happening.
It smashed its goal in its first day.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it looks amazing. I love playing virtual. I've got a stand. I like playing vertical play. So this looks perfect for me. It looks perfect. But I'm looking forward to playing Ikaruga.
Pinball as well, huh?
So Ikaruga then. So you absolutely love it. You've got a review coming soon.
Yeah. I'll not spoil the score just yet, but I think it's £13.49 on the eShop. So if you're interested in going for like high scores or improving every time, I think it's well worth the money, and you'll get loads of hours out of it. If you're just wanting to see what's there, like I say, you can probably go through it in about half an hour, and you're probably not gonna get your money's worth that way, and you're not really gonna enjoy it that much, even though like the general gameplay and like the music and stuff is like it's great.
But you still feel it's ultimately you got to go for the high scores to get the most out of it. That's where the real sort of fun is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though they seem impossible, better sound it.
I'll get there one day.
One day.
No,
I guess it'd be better if there's like a few of your mates where you're all at a similar level and you're trying to like one up each other.
Yeah, I mean there are a few difficulty levels, but it only really changes how the enemies interact with you. Like if you shoot enemies with your bullets. In easy mode, there'll be no like backfire whenever they die. Whereas if you go up the difficulties, then like, if you kill an enemy, they'll immediately like rain sort of some bullets down the screen from whenever they explode. And the game's like difficult enough as it is, like trying to weave in through and flipping between the colours and going through all the bullets. So to have that extra danger of the enemy's death sort of creating more havoc, it's like, I don't know how some people go through it.
Do you reckon you'll ever finish it?
Well, I've flicked the infinite lives on just to see all of it, but the furthest I've ever got to the boss of stage 3.
So you have finished it. You cheated your way there.
Yeah, which is
normal
available for everyone. But yeah, under the default like insanely difficult restrictions, I can't imagine ever making it to the end. But
never say never. Never say never. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to play. I've got it, but I haven't really spent too much time on it. So I'm looking forward to playing that. And we should have a little bit of a friendly competition going on.
I might have to pick this up as well. Did you play the GameCube version?
Yes, I had the GameCube version as well, and
I've got it, yeah.
I remember trying to turn my TV around.
No,
because there's all those different options. Obviously, that wasn't recommended at the time, but it's only a wee portable, like 14-inch TV, and like there's a 4:3 aspect ratio, so it didn't really make that much difference.
So it's it wasn't even a widescreen telly. That's amazing. Oh boy, so you're going to get it as well then, Lee? You've been convinced by Greg's positivity.
Yes, yeah. We've been chatting on Discord as well. Hey, Discord plug. And yeah, his positivity throughout his review and everything, yeah, sounds great. Even though playing the GameCube version, wow, I played on GameCube as well, and I didn't get very far.
Yeah, it is brutal. Have any of you played Enter the Gungeon?
Love it. One of my favourite games on the Switch.
Yeah, it reminds me of that when you was explaining it. I've never really thought of Ikaruga in that way, but I was like, actually, that sounds like the basics of, Enter the Gungeon in a way, where, you've got 5 levels and you just keep starting from the beginning, you've got to get all the way to the end, and each time you play it, you try and get a little bit closer each time. And my game this week is a puzzle game, actually. I love puzzle games, and I think the Switch, one of the things I was excited about was it felt like a perfect platform for puzzle games. But there's not loads on there. I'm still waiting for Sudoku. I'm still waiting for more Picross. There's a little bit on there. Obviously, Tetris versus Puyo Puyo is amazing. And obviously, Luminous actually came out this week. Is it out now?
It's out today. Yeah, it's out today. It's come out already. Yeah.
Okay.
Great stuff.
Brilliant.
Sure, today, I saw it on the eShop the other day when I was looking. I'm not sure when it came out. Is it today? Or did it come out last Thursday?
Very recently.
It wasn't last Thursday, but maybe yesterday, whatever. Anyway, so it's just sort of, I'd heard of it, but it sort of came out now. But anyway, I think it's amazing. More puzzle games, the better for me. I'm still waiting for a Tetris Attack, and bring out Wetrix and Tetrisphere from the N64. But I think I'm dreaming on those. But anyway, this is a puzzle game that I've got, and I think it's brilliant, and no one's talking about it. It's called Tumblestone. It's I'm just trying to explain it. So basically, it's a typical match. But it's not like Tetris or anything like that. So there's loads of cubes, little tumblestones they're called, loads of squares, and you've got like a sort of a laser, and you've got to tap 3 of the same colour, and they can be in rows. They're all over the grid, and the grid is like a Tetris board, but on the ceiling. So you're firing from below. I'm not explaining this very well at all. But they're all positioned in a certain way. So if you need like 3 purple ones, you've always got to get 3, and you've got to like knock the blocks away to uncover the colours underneath, and you can see the colours, but you've got to think very far ahead, because you've got to think, right, if I knock these 3 purple ones, I've got to make sure I have 3 blues or 3 reds, otherwise it's game over. Does that make sense?
Yes,
I'm not convinced it does.
Sequential thinking, yeah. You accidentally knock a blue one away, and then, oh no, I've knackered my next lineup, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You've always got to knock 3 of the same colour away, and there may be like 6 purple ones that you can knock away, but you've got to knock the right ones away to make sure you've got 3 of another colour, if that makes sense. So you've always got to be thinking about what is going to be revealed, what can you hit next.
Is the top moving down toward you?
It does, but that's not really a factor. So at the minute, it may ramp up later on, but it's not really a factor. There are modes. So there is multiplayer on it as well, and in the single player you can play against like fictional characters in the game, and then you have like race. There's loads of different modes to it. In effect, it's all the same game, but there's like race mode where you've got very specific. A lot of the time, it's just random, but then you have very specific layouts, and you've got to figure out the solution to complete the whole grid. But there's only like one way of doing it, so that's like a much more of like individual puzzle based sort of thing. But it's really cheap. It is. I think it's brilliant. It's not a high score puzzle game. It is a kind of like how, kind of just eradicating the kind of blocks. But I think it's brilliant. The multiplayer looks amazing, but whether I'll ever get to play it, it's a shame it doesn't have online. And it's got like a massive single player campaign as well, with slightly tweaked rules, but in a very bizarre story involving Cleopatra and ogres and fairy princesses. It's very bizarre for what, and doesn't really suit the gameplay at all, but it's there. But it's just really fun, and I think if you like puzzle games, this is a great puzzle game. It's not much money and well worth picking up, I reckon. But so that's Tumblestone. I picked it up for like £2.50 or £3 on the eShop when it was on sale, and it's very good, very good. So there are games that we've been playing over the past week. Now, before we go on to our topic of the week, which is the big game that we've been playing, we're just going to do a listener question. We have, oh my God, it's like 50-odd minutes. Oh my God, we ramble. This is what we need to learn over the next few podcasts. But I know, we'll quickly do a question from someone from our Discord channel or server or whatever forum or whatever Discord actually is. And it's from Mark DeRuse, and he asked, would you prefer third-party parity with other consoles if it meant their next console would drop the uniqueness differentiator that Nintendo is known for? So the next console after the Switch, do you want equal power with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One 2, or do you want Nintendo to keep doing what they're doing and what they've always done? So Greg, what do you want from Nintendo?
To be honest, I'd prefer Nintendo just to keep doing what they're doing. I'm not really sure they need to go away from the Switch concept, really. I'd kind of just like to see them iterate on that, because it's kind of got every possibility in like one machine, and I don't really see why they would need to deviate from that. We've sort of had the situation in the past, like the GameCube, for example. It wasn't that much different from the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, and the third-party support never came and stuff. So to have third-party support in the future would obviously make a big difference. But I mean, the thought of all the third-party games and all the Nintendo exclusives on one platform is obviously like that's a dream situation.
It's also a bit scary, isn't it? Too many games.
I know, but like, to be honest, the third-party stuff, there's never really that much that I'm so excited to play that I'm really that bored that it's not on the Switch.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Lee?
Yeah, I'm completely on the same page as Greg with you. I can't see Nintendo deviating from that Switch structure at all, apart from to make it more powerful and the Switch 2 or whatever they want to call it, the new Nintendo Switch. I even can envisage it being exactly the same dimensions, and you're still compatible with the Joy-Cons. The same input controllers. It's just the console in the middle is different. That would not surprise me in the least, and I would rather Nintendo stick to the unique gooky factor that I've always loved throughout my life than being able to pull in GTA, the next GTA or whatever is out there. I just want to play Mario. How about you, Darren?
I figured the same with you. I think we're giving completely unsurprising answers to this. I think they should keep being wacky. I think the industry needs them being wacky. I think it's the only thing that keeps me fully as excited about gaming as I am, because they always do something a bit different, and it's exciting. And the Switch is amazing. I think there is a worry that it's struggling to get ports now, and as soon as the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One 2 come out, it's going to be even more difficult. But, like you, Lee, I can see them doing a Switch Pro and having the new Tegra chip in there. If you look at the Switch, it's got a massive bezel on it. If you think of the Switch console as it is, take away the bezel so the screen can be even bigger.
Yeah.
4K screen, Switch Pro, that can be the next one, and hopefully that can be, again, in a similar way to Switch to PS4. Not everything, but it's still getting enough multi-platform games to keep it healthy. I think that's probably what's going to happen, and that is what I want as well.
As long as it like carries the games forward, you can still play like your current Switch games on the next one.
Yeah, I expect it to be completely backward compatible as well. Yeah, definitely. And even the dock, they could put something extra in the dock that boosted it up to the 4K. You know, they don't have to just have that blank dock that just outputs the picture, but they could have another CPU just giving it a little boost, extra grunt.
And with all these streaming games anyway, that is going to increase and increase. Maybe it doesn't matter how powerful the console is when they nail the technology for that, but that's another issue entirely. But it is always an interesting discussion, though, to think, Nintendo has basically survive off their first party stuff, if you had every single game on a multi-platform game and the Nintendo first party, in theory you'd think it should dominate. Like, why would anybody not pick up the Switch considering it's got all those games and more? But in practice, it doesn't quite work like that, does it?
No, never. People like their online infrastructures on other systems.
Exactly, and Nintendo are a long way from sorting that out, so oh boy. So cheers, Mark, for that. But let's move on to the topic of the week, which feels like it should be the bulk of it, but I feel as if we're coming to an end of the podcast. It's nearly an hour long. So maybe we'll just, we're going to do a more specific video feature on this very issue. So maybe we'll just give maybe we'll go relatively quickly on this and we won't deep dive like we intended, as we fix the rest of our podcast for future episodes. So Mario Tennis is out. We were all very excited about it. We said we couldn't wait for E3. It is out. Did it live up to our excitement or not? And how have we been finding it? So Greg, Mario Tennis, what do you think?
So far I think it's great. To say it's lived up to expectations, I couldn't really say yet because I haven't been able to give it that much time because I've been really busy recently. But the time I have spent on it, playing online with you and a few others, it's been like brilliant. The gameplay's absolutely solid. We've played mostly in simple mode so far, which is obviously just the basic tennis, and like I can hardly fault it that way. Obviously it's a shame that there aren't like bigger sets and stuff, but the basic gameplay there is amazing. Like I would recommend it.
Have you put too much time into the single player or any time?
I've just finished the forest, I think, which is like the sort of like the second area, I think. But I sort of need to get back into that. Honestly, I haven't really had time to play. Like, I'd love to play it more. And I definitely will finish the single player, which has kind of been like, it hasn't been amazing so far, but it's been interesting enough. And obviously, it teaches you how to do like all your different special moves and stuff, which obviously will carry over into the multiplayer.
So Lee, you've completed the single player, is that right?
I have. I'm nearing the end of it. Yeah, I'm going into the last area, which I won't spoil what it is, but basically it is a lot shorter than I thought it would be, the single player, that is. It's got a lot of varied stages, and by completing stages you then open up the ability to play those courts in the multiplayer. But it's really difficult as well at times. We played Greg this morning, and Greg absolutely hammered me. We're looking at our internet connection. That's another thing, we'll talk about it later. You'll probably bring it up. The internet connection was only 1 bar. I'm in Taiwan, he's in Northern Ireland. It's like, it's going to be terrible lag. No problem. There was, I think, 2 instances of a flicker of lag during the first game, and then it was lag free. So I've got no problem so far with the online multiplayer aspect of it. It's run lag free is brilliant compared to what they provided during the demo weekend.
Exactly,
but
yeah.
The single player has been very difficult at times. I've had to redo certain challenges 3, 4, 5 times, rank up a bit, because there's this very simple RPG mechanic where by winning or losing you do get a bit of RPG power, and your character gets faster, more agile, or your shot power improves. But it's a glorified tutorial. every kind of challenge is teaching you, you need to use your trick shot here, you need to use your I forgot what they call smash shot, your star shot, and each one is focused on a particular ability. I'm expecting the last level and the last boss to, open up everything.
Encompass it all. So.
Yeah.
But is that a bad thing?
No, not at all. No, it's been it's been pleasant. Even when you're losing, it's like, I realise why I lose. It's never unfair. Apart from one level I've come across. Playing, I've forgotten who the enemy is. I think it was Shy Guy on the back of the ship. There's a mast in the middle, and if he hits the mast, it always bounces in at a weird angle, and you've lost the point.
And that feels like you've been cheated.
You've been cheated. That's the only instance of time that I've been cheated. Otherwise, it's down to my lack of skill,
Yeah, that's fair enough. But if you haven't played loads of multiplayer by the sounds of it.
I've played a lot of local multiplayer with my son.
Okay. And has that been fun? Has he been enjoying it?
Yes, he has. Yeah, he's been asking to play it more than I wanted to play it, actually, which is a very positive sign. And he prefers, where I'm a kind of an old man who prefers the kind of standard, simple rules with no flashy moves. He likes the glitz and glam of smash shots.
Yeah, that's fair enough. They are fun.
Yeah,
they are fun. So you're loving it. So all positive. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same as you two. I've not played loads of the single player yet. It seems fine. I'm not that bothered about it. I'm not one of those people who was like, I'm desperate for an RPG mode. It was I enjoyed Advance. I played it recently actually when it came out in the eShop. It's fine, but I just want to play. I want an amazing tennis game. That's what I want. I want to be able to play my friends and have an amazing tennis game. And 90% of this game is amazing. It's got 3 modes. The swing mode is brilliant for Wii Sports. Anybody can pick it up. I play with my girlfriend. She would never play Mario Tennis, but she's well up for this, and my son's a bit too young for button controls, but he'll be able to play. I think that's amazing that they've included that. It's very un-Nintendo, the amount of options they've given us in that regard. The fact they've given us simple rules, but is amazing. And like you said, Greg, it plays brilliantly when you take out the special shots and you just play simple rules tennis. It is an amazing game of tennis, where it's all about positioning and kind of judging where they're gonna. It's fantastic. It's genuinely sort of Mario 64 Tennis 2. Mario Tennis 64 2 rather, and I think that's great. I think that's amazing that that's in there. And then for the first time for me, the special moves. It's the first time that I think these are genuinely interesting. They're not just silly gimmicks just to make it wacky and crazy for crazy's sake. A lot of people talk about the GameCube version. I wasn't a massive fan of that. For me, it was a downgrade from Mario Tennis 64. But I think it's genuinely strategic. It feels, in the main, like an amazing inclusion. So you've got like 3 different versions of tennis in one, which is brilliant. However, the game does have loads of really, really annoying features.
It wouldn't be a Nintendo game if it didn't.
I know exactly why. It's just like they do so much right, and then but the things they get wrong is just bizarre. It's just really weird. So, just like I say, we're gonna deep dive into this more. But the weirdest inclusion out of it all, if they fix this, it would, I could forgive the rest. But you can't decide how many games and sets you play in this game. You can only decide whether you play a tiebreaker, basically like what Wii Sports does, which is the first to 7, or you can do 2 game sets, and that is it across the board. Even locally, you can't do it. The only time you can play sets is in the later stages of the online tournaments. But you can't. So if you got your mate over and you want to play a 3-set game, 6 games a set, you can't do it. It is bonkers to me, but also destroys what is great about tennis. Tennis, unlike other sports, most other sports, has such a unique scoring structure where it is literally, people say football is never over till it's over. It was like, well, it is over. When England were 5-0 up at half time the other day, that game was over. But with tennis, you could be 2 sets up and 5-0 up in the 3rd set. And you can't ride that out. You can't sit back and defend that. You still have to go and win it. Otherwise, the other person can come back because someone has to win. So it literally isn't over until it's over in tennis. And that is a fascinating thing because the kind of the to and fro of matches can be incredibly dramatic. And you lose that when, in effect, you've resorted to a beat-em-up structure of first to two wins. So for me, it's devastating, in all honesty.
Yeah, my big problem there with the short format is like, you don't really have time to like analyze how the other person plays, because you might come up against somebody that maybe it might even be like a one-trick pony or something, but just he might smash you in like 2 games and that's it over. Whereas in a longer format, you get time, you sort of figure out how they play, and you sort of adjust your own tactics to figure out. And then like at least in like if you're playing like a longer format, you have a chance to get yourself back into the game and have a go of it. Whereas the way it is at the minute, it's like the game could be finished before you even sort of get into it.
Yeah, exactly, and it's incredibly frustrating. But it's an easy fix. Let's say that it's a very easy fix. But will they?
Oh, I'm really hoping they do, but I can't see them doing it. Oh, I don't want to be negative.
Sort of recently, Nintendo's sort of been given this impression that they, like, in some ways, like they listen to the fans, like the way Ridley's and Smash Brothers, like people are crying for it. But the impression I always get is like, Nintendo, yeah, we're listening to you, and we're going to do completely the opposite of what you want. It's like they don't want to give you like the obvious thing. They always have to like twist it some way just to make it different. They don't want to give you like what you expect.
But even Ultra Tennis had this. Every Mario Tennis game is you could decide how many games you wanted to play in a set. Oh boy. So you two aren't hoping for the best with a patch. I mean, we'll see. But it would. I think this game's incredible as it is. You know, even if they didn't patch it, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two games in one set, you know, and it's got the regular tennis scoring system, and you're playing against each other just over 2. Brilliant stuff. Just I want more of it. Yeah, you're right, Darren.
Exactly. Yeah. It would have a different, because not everybody wants it. That's the thing. Is like a 5-set match. Probably if 6 games a set, it's going to take 3 hours. You know, not many people are going to want to do that. But if you're up for it, you know, if you enjoy that I would love that. I'd be well up for that. It'd be even better if you could save it at any point and come back to it at a later date. But I think I'm asking for way too much for that. But you know, it would offer a hell of a lot more. But we'll see if they do. Hopefully they will. They've been really good updating all their online games, even, you know, ARMS and, you know, obviously Splatoon and stuff like that. So we'll see. But that's the biggest issue. There's other things like, you know, you can get in a group of 4, and like on one level it's amazing. So you can get 4 people from 4 different parts of the world coming together, and you can mix it up playing singles and doubles, and you watch each other play, and it's really exciting. But if you wanted to change any rule, like, oh, actually we don't want to play singles, we just want to play doubles, or we don't want to play special moves, we just want to play simple rules, you have to disband the whole group in lobby and create a new lobby just to tweak one rule. Or even if you played on the, you know, the kind of forest level and the piranha plants were doing your head in, you think, actually this is crap, because again, what's amazing, and this is a big surprise, Nintendo allow you to turn the hazards off.
Yeah, on individual levels as well. It's like, oh, I want to turn the piranha plants on this, but I want the mast on this one. Yeah, you can turn anyone off. And from any level. It's amazing. But yeah, they dropped the ball on other things.
Exactly. It's so unlike Nintendo to give that kind of flexibility. But so it's an odd one. It's not perfect, but the gameplay I think kind of is perfect. I think this is probably one of the best tennis games I've ever played. But it's just got some really very annoying niggles. And I've got a list of them. I've got a list of things that it does really well and that it does really badly. But like I say, we'll save that for a video. And we'll just keep. I'll spam it to Nintendo and just say, please, just listen to this. Please, just add this. And hopefully they'll keep developing, because they're giving us new characters every single month. Every new tournament, every month, they're going to give us a character, and so that's great. They've clearly got plans. So let's hope they just give us more options, because I am loving it.
I hope they give us a few extra new courts as well.
Yes. Yeah, new courts. Obviously, the new characters. New courts would be amazing.
7 different courts in total. It is on the limited side.
Is that it? Yeah, it's not loads, is it? So hopefully that's all coming. But I just hope that this slight negativity that's been happening about the game doesn't dampen its sales, because I want this to be massive, because I'm truly loving it. But we will see. Do any of you have any other last kind of minute thoughts on tennis?
Get online and play us.
Yeah. and us, we need to get on that. We've been playing quite a bit, haven't we, Greg? But Lee, get involved. Obviously, time difference makes it pretty tricky. But
as I'm waking up, Greg is going to bed, and he's like, "Oh, let's have a couple of quick matches." So yeah, sometimes we catch each other.
We'll try and sort it out because it is awesome. So there we go. That was a surprisingly long episode. We do want to try and keep this under an hour each week. We'll get better, so stick with us, please. And so thank you for listening, and thank you, Greg and Lee.
Cheers.
Thank you very much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Nintendo Review Podcast. You can find this very podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and TuneIn. Just search for the Nintendo Review Podcast. We are also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, where you'll find great content such as news, reviews, and streams. Of course, you'll also find us at nintendoreview.co.uk. And check out the Nintendo Review Discord channel for lively discussion, meetups, and in-game voice chat. Drop by and say hello.